Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. This is kind of mind-blowing to me and definitely very interesting. Circle, issuer of stablecoin USDC, one of the largest stablecoins on the entire damn planet, and I'll show you this in a second, they told an XRP community member and somebody who's building on the XRP ledger that, if you want USDC on the to be issued on the XRP ledger, really Ripple's going to need to come and talk to us. I'll show you exactly the way it was worded, but that's it. And it's kind of crazy to me in a way, but after thinking through it further and getting a little bit of a better understanding about how the sausage is made, it's like I understand it more at least, but it's still kind of ridiculous to me because admittedly, like this isn't something I've spent a ton of time thinking about. I don't even use stable coins. I've never used them myself ever because I'm not a trader, so I don't get in and out of positions. Never need to hold some my value that I want in decentralized cryptocurrencies into some sort of centralized quote unquote stable coin, which is just backed by the dollar, which actually technically makes it not stable, but set that aside. I talked about that in my last video, but it's just fascinating because there are all sorts of platforms that do have USDC, including Stellar. Now, mind you, Stellar XLM, which I've been holding since 2017, by the way, that's a fork of the XRP ledger. It's a clone, and it was modified. And there's some sort of arrangement there to where it came on board. Like, why can't we just have that with the XRP ledger, which has a built-in decentralized exchange? You can tokenize stuff. Well, that's what we're going to be talking about in this latest Moon Lambo Hot Jam. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. And here you can see on Circle's official website, experience the power of USDC on Stellar. And here's a headline, so this is when this actually happened, and I remember the news breaking at the time. I just couldn't remember exactly where it was, so I just did a quick Google to find an article. This one happens to be from Bitcoin.com. February 4th, 2021. Circle launches USD coin on the Stellar network. And good for them. Happy it's there. Why the hell isn't it on the XRP ledger, though? Well, take a look at this. XRP community member Panos shared this. There was a discussion recently about why Circle hasn't issued USDC on XRP ledger yet. So I decided to email Circle and ask them directly, mentioning also how important it is for our project, Enodos, to have USDC and EURC on XRP ledger. This is their answer. Ripple, it's time to step in. And so when I first read that, he tagged Ripple and he said it's time to step in. Before I even read what's on your screen right now, the response from Circle, I was like, "What? Wait, Ripple has to do? Why does Ripple have to do so?" That was my gut reaction, and I was like, "Why is he saying Ripple needs it?" And so, but here's why. Here's the response from Circle to Panos. Hi Panos, thanks for reaching out. In regards to bringing USDC or EURC to new chains, Circle is consistently looking to expand where we bring USDC natively on chain. At this time, we do not have anything to share on any plans to bring USDC or EURC to XRP ledger. Those are conversations that most likely Ripple would need to be having directly with Circle. That's the post, and that's the response to Panos. And I at first I was scratching my head. I was like, what in the ever-loving Ripple? Why do they have to talk to Ripple? That make no damn sense. Now I have a little bit of a better understanding because I asked questions, so just hang with me here, and I'll give you the best answer I have to this point anyway. So there's a response from Santiago Valz, who I think is just a brilliant mind in our space. I mean, he definitely is a wealth of knowledge, really, truly brilliant guy. So he was sharing his perspective here, and he wrote to Panos and said, the real reason is the Circle and Ripple are, that he means that Circle and Ripple are competitors in the global payment space. It's highly unlikely to see USDC on the XRP ledger for this very reason. Regardless, there are already stablecoins on the XRP ledger via IOU gateway providers, so what's the benefit here? Now, Panos responded to that, and he said, Ripple is one project on XRP ledger, so that's irrelevant. Same can be said for Stellar 2 and other projects/companies on other chains focusing on payments. Circle makes money from USDC's usage, so the more the better. The benefit bringing Circle directly to XRP Ledger are many and mainly exposure for XRP Ledger and its features like the decentralized exchange / automated market maker that most are unaware of, interoperability with other chains, and you are also bringing the issuer directly instead of a gateway that adds an extra layer of risk. And so I thought that those were really good points there. And so I responded to that. And I'm sitting here thinking, even if it's true that Circle views Ripple as some sort of competitor, well, on any number of platforms, you could have any number of developers that are trying in part to do something that Circle's doing. That's always a possibility. And I don't even know for sure. Like maybe Santiago Valz is correct. He could be. But I don't know for sure if Circle is viewing Ripple as an actual competitor here. In many ways, what they're doing very different and some very obvious ways, obviously. I mean, like Ripple's not seeking to issue a stablecoin, obviously, for example, and Circle presumably making a lot of their funds with these transactions, so is what it is. But so I responded to Panos and I wrote, I think that makes sense. Plus, if USDC views Ripple as a competitor, why wouldn't they want to compete? Why would they give up all territory that XRP and the XRP ledger touches? I would expect that if USDC were on the XRP ledger, then some would use that instead of XRP. I'm not seeing the downside for USDC. I also don't understand why USDC would need to talk to Ripple about this. Do they genuinely not know the XRP ledger is decentralized and they don't need permission to tokenize USDC there? And so I reposted that and I tagged Circle here and I wrote, hey Circle, you don't need permission from Ripple to tokenize USDC on the XRP ledger, just for your information. Someone from your team mistakenly thinks the XRP ledger is centralized and needs to talk to Ripple about adding your coin, but this is not true. You can just add it if you want to. And then there was this post, and I'm going to circle back to that a little bit more because as far as the idea of why Circle might feel they would need to talk to Ripple, just sit tight because I think that's actually probably the most important, most interesting piece of all of this. But there's this post from my fellow XRP YouTuber Mikkel, and he was talking about this as well. And he said, other than Ripple just dropping the ball on this, the only thing I can think of is they have a deal with another issuer not to bring USDC on. And it's not a crazy idea. That could be, I mean, you never know for sure. But again, there's still the question of why would Ripple need to be a part of this anyway, which again, I will get to in just a second. And so I responded with the following. Maybe, but since we're talking about decentralized systems here, I'm having a hard time coming up with a reason that Circle would agree to not compete on a certain chain, and to what end. And again, folks, just think about this. That's why I go back to, even if Circle viewed Ripple as a competitor, so their answer to Ripple being a competitor is we're not going to compete in this arena. We're just going to cede this land for you, this XRP ledger blockchain. All of this land is yours, Ripple. We're not going to try and take a piece of that. Does that make sense? Even so. That's why the idea of it being because they're competitors, even if that's perceived as true by Circle, I'm having trouble coming to terms with that. I don't think that makes sense. And I also then wrote, if such an arrangement exists, it would be a futile attempt to slow the adoption of XRP and the XRP ledger. Who would pay Circle to engage in this futile attempt, especially considering USDC not being on XRP ledger is harmful to Circle's global expansion? There's some sort of thought process going on at Circle that we're not privy to. I don't get it. I hope it's not more XRP derangement syndrome. And it could be XRP derangement syndrome. I'm not saying I think that's the most probable reason, and I don't think that actually. But there's also this. In response to Panos' original thread from XRP community member Crypto Arsenal, he wrote, because again, Panos just said it's time for Ripple to step in, and Crypto Arsenal said, why though? Is this more misunderstanding that Ripple does not control the XRP ledger, or is that in fact false? Panos responded to him and said, for better or for worse, Ripple is seen as the go-to entity when it comes to XRP ledger and its integrations. For integrations like that, two entities need to discuss. I hope that will change in the near future, but we need big projects on XRP ledger to be able to do business with Ripple. I hope Enodos will achieve that. And so even there, you might be thinking, why do you need two big entities to do that? Because the XRP ledger is decentralized. Like if you want to right now, you listening, you can go tokenize something on the XRP ledger. You can just try and get it going. You could absolutely do it. You could try and get your own stablecoin going. Absolutely, there's nothing stopping you. Why do you need two parties? And again, just sit tight. Crypto Arsenal responded and said, if this is the reason why people like Circle are not coming to XRP Ledger, then the questions around why development on the XRP Ledger is slow are answered. Either Circle have it wrong or Ripple have more control than the community is led to believe. Okay, I will say that as far as the idea of this, there not being more developers because of this, I don't think that's a factor. I think that it's very clear development's been trending up for a very long period of time, over half a decade. But if you think that there should be more developers and there aren't, I would just argue that a primary reason for that is that there's not layer 1 smart contract functionality on the XRP ledger. But the good news is the market has deemed that that doesn't particularly matter because XRP is functionally useful, and that has resulted in the market keeping XRP in the top 10 cryptos by market cap, in the top 10 for over a decade now. So there's that. But here's how Panos responded. He wrote to Crypto Arsenal and said, on every chain, there is a foundation or labs company behind it as the core development team. And Ripple has been that for XRP Ledger since inception. The best would be for XRP Ledger Foundation to take that role, but I would guess since it's relatively new and not many outside of XRP Ledger know about it, all they know is Ripple. And so, if that's how these things start, and that's, there's some sort of leading entity that makes sure that USD gets on these other chains, okay. But still, I was kind of curious, like, how does that functionally work? And so, this is where we get to the answer. Crypto Arsenal had a separate post and wrote, hey, David Schwartz, and tagged a couple others. How do we foresee this moving forward? I see this a major barrier and issue. Is this a misconception from Circle that they need permission from Ripple to be able to bring USDC natively to the XRP ledger? Or is this, in fact, the only way? And this is the answer. This is what I think is the best. It's the best answer I've seen. XRP community member and developer Wietse Wind responded to that and said, it's always about money. And there's only one entity in the XRP ledger space with that kind of money. And so I responded to Wietse Wind there and said, so they'd want Ripple to use their money to back the USDC that would be on the XRP ledger? Is that how this works? And Wietse did respond to me, and he said, usually a party wants money to integrate. Exchanges want listing fees. AML indexers want integration fees, etc., etc. And in case of stablecoins, they want volume, users, market making, commitments. Not many I know who can make these kinds of commitments. And so this is like a little bit of an idea, like kind of a behind the, because he happens to be more aware of like how the sausage is made than I, because I haven't really spent time thinking about that. I don't even use stable coins. It would be beneficial. It's easier to get in and out of positions on the XRP ledger than it would certainly bring more activity, unquestionably. So it would be a net plus for XRP itself. It also requires the usage of XRP, by the way. Like literally with every single transaction, a little bit of XRP gets burnt with every single transaction. Like literally, if you have USDC on the XRP ledger, XRP is required for that. So it's fantastic. That's another use case right there. But I responded to that and said, I see, makes sense. That's why a participant within the XRP ecosystem that has a serious war chest of money is needed then. And, presumably at least, the only entity building on the XRP ledger that fits the bill just happens to be Ripple. Which is, by the way, basically what Wietse Wind was getting at here. There are tons of developers on the XRP ledger, but Ripple, I'm not aware of one that has anywhere near that kind of money. Because Ripple has more money than God, basically. Like, that's pretty much it. So I can see, so going back to that, maybe Circle understands, yeah, we don't need to get permission. We know the XRP ledger is decentralized, but we need to be incentivized. So the answer may be they don't have enough funds to back their own USDC if they issued it on the XRP ledger and they need money from someone else. And who has that money that's interested in the XRP ledger? Ripple. That's the probable answer at this point. That's what I think makes sense. So is it going to happen? Well, if Ripple, maybe, but if Ripple hasn't showed interest to this point, it makes me a little skeptical it's going to happen. I mean, you guys can tell me what maybe it happens. I'm not saying it won't, but why not yet? Like, it should be, and why wouldn't Ripple view this as beneficial? I'd be curious to that. So there may be things that I haven't considered, you haven't considered, we just don't know. There's probably more to this. It's a virtual certainty, but I'm just super curious. Now, if you guys out there have any ideas as to why it hasn't happened yet, or anything else, if you have any information about how this actually works, because I'm not a know-it-all. I'm not pretending to know everything. I'm just sharing with you in this latest Moon Lambo Hot Jam what I do know, what's happening, and what I've learned. But let me know if you know something that I don't, and I'd be happy to talk about it in a future video. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Lambo.